Good morning, children. Now, today we again come to meet you, and I'm really very missing our own classes. Thank you for your appreciation or the feedback that you have sent. I really liked that one. Okay, thank you so much. Today, I just want to remind you that previous lessons we have seen that the people moving from one place to another place with the different reasons, right? So whether the reason is related to climate, whether the reason is for the different intentions that they had, right? But whether our country is an agricultural country, right? Then how they have started growing these crops, this question we had in our mind, right? Again, we started thinking, we have seen the varieties of foods, their farming, herding, this domesticated the animals, the pots that they made it by clay, right? Again, the many things. We all these got the information in the excavation by the archaeologists, right? No, this was the evidence with us. That's why we can say that these people had a good development process by observing and experimenting and experiencing, right? No, so in this lesson also we are going to think about it. If they have started different kinds of food, then what were those, how they have grown with the different environments, right? Then the beginning of farming and herding, how they have started, what was the reason, what made them to observe, to start farming, why they have started herding, why they have started taming animals, right? No, and how, and later it becomes an occupation, right? Again, we can say the structure of houses. Nowadays also we do have different types of structure of houses as per our requirements, right? And we also would like to choose that kind of house. Yes, I want. But the basic thing of the structure of houses is it mostly depend on our climate. Wherever we are staying, the climate matters, right? No, so again, we are thinking about the animals, whether they were herding, rearing, then what they were using for them. Absolutely. You already have the answers with you, but we are going to check it with the step by step. And also the different names of sites we got. And every different site has a different grains as per their region. Okay. So that table also you can see it in the textbook. Name of the site, grains and the bones. How they have started a good life or the settled life. It means in this settled life they did not think about to do more and more hard work that they previously struggled with. right? So the whole culture or the customs and the practices later they have decided for their particular community, or it becomes afterwards like that. Okay, this one I'm telling you that if you are deciding, if you are choosing any particular region with your people, these things contribute in that. Understood? Not only the geographical region, not only the climatic conditions, but also the way of life they are living, the animals, that the food, farming, herding, the occupations that they had, right? You can say the liturgical skill, customs, practices that they have decided for themselves. Okay, the skills that they possessed, that they acquired. Okay, so this contribute any regional importance or the significance. Okay, that's why in this lesson we are going to learn all these things step by step. Fine, understood? So the lesson from gathering to growing food. Not only these dishes, but just I want to refer you, these are the varieties of foods. Foods are more than this kind of varieties, right? But it attracts us, right? No, to have it now only. Yes, I'm hungry. Please let me taste, right? No, yeah. But different plants grow in different conditions. The plants that grow in a Maharashtra and the plants grows in a Odisha. The plants grow in a Rajasthan are quite different, right? No, so all these states are in India only, but because of their geographical location and the climate makes to get this different food, right? And whenever we are cultivating this food or the crop, it also requires the what? Water, but in a different way. In a different way in the sense, more water. Some plants or the crops gets the more water. Some plants gets the less water. Right? No? Like if we are cultivating rice, then the rice requires more water than the wheat and barley. Right? No? Understood? So different animals too prefer different environments. Suppose we do rearing and herding these cattle or the other animals. Okay. So if we do have a sheep, we do have a goat, right? These animals can survive very easily in hilly regions than the cattle in dry and hilly environments. But as you saw the previous chapter, the people or the earliest people never produced their own food always. Understood? So, this was the basic information I want to tell you about the varieties of food. Why? Not only the climatic condition, but also by giving the less water, or for which crops needs the more water, why it needs, how and at what condition that we have known about this. This was the basic thing that we need to think about first. Okay, so you may get the idea about in your mind. So, in which state or which area of Maharashtra, which area of Odisha, which area of Kerala gets the cultivation of rice? Where do we get the cultivation of wheat and barley? Right, no? You may remember your name of a village also, your own village. What we are going to cultivate in our village or in my village, right? No? Okay. The next one, here you can see the map. In this map, I have shown the Odisha in red color. Okay. Maharashtra is to that your west side. Odisha is to the east side. If you remember that we are following 82.5 degree longitudinal time zone, right? No, so according to that, definitely we'll get the time difference also. East and west regional position is there, right? No, so you got this position of different states of India, right? So different plants grow in different conditions. For instance, rice, it requires more water than wheat and barley. Different animals too prefer different environments. For example, sheep and goats survive more easily than cattle in dry hilly regions, or you can say the environments. Here you can see the picture of farmer, how they're doing the farming. Nowadays also rainy season started, so hope so that these respective farmers may have started the seeds, sowing seeds. It means whenever we are doing the agriculture, every time it is not required that we are going to sow the seed and planting it. Okay, both the way we can do the agricultural work. Every crop cultivation is the different one whenever you are sowing it. Understood? These are the cattle. At village, 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, you may have seen it. Right now? Sometimes as per their houses also they do have one, two, three like that counts. So here, let me tell you about the farming. Okay. The climate of the world is going to change. Everyone knows it. Every year we are listening. Now the world is going to over or the finish next year, next month, on this particular date and all. Right now, just the answer is only to change the climate. According to this changing climate, we had this kind of statements. Okay, so these plants and the animals that people used as a food, it changed. And we the people always observe the things, what we can eat, what kind of plant we can use in our food, right? No, then seeds, whenever it broke off stalks, fell on the ground and new plants sprouted from them. You can say it began looking after plants. These people, when it fell down on the ground, the new plants sprouted from that seed. This thing were observed by these people, and later these people started protecting them from birds, from animals that they are growing. That's why they are protecting that one small plant. And the seeds could ripen. Understood? Seeds also started ripen. That's why they became a farmer. What condition they got? They got the idea of edible plants, right? Plants. Seeds, those broke off stalks and fell on the ground. And new plants sprouted from them. And afterwards, the new plants started sprouting them. It means they got the idea to grow it. And for growing these small plants, we need to protect it from the birds, from the insects, or from the animals. Right now, in this way, they became the farmer. Okay. Then you will ask me the question then how they could become the herder, or how they have started taming animals, right? Just put a logic in your mind. Wherever there is a animal, whether it is a small puppy, also nowadays I'm telling, okay, just be in a present, or any bird also, like a crow only, sparrow only, okay, that we are having in our corridor, right? What we are doing, we used to provide them a water. We would like to give them a grain, okay, or we would like to give them a food, whatever we had made it at our home, right? We used to share it to them. So what happens, they also started attaching to us, that yes, let me come in their corridor, that I am very happy and comfortable with them. So what is it? Domestication, right? No, understood it like that. These people also attracted to tame animals, leaving food for them near their shelters. Now suppose in our own villages also we are doing, whatever the food remains at night also, we used to put that remaining food on the stairs outside of the door, right? No, we used to put it. So the at that time, now come back to history. The first animal they tamed was the wild ancestor of the dog. Absolutely, till we are not domesticating the animals, these animals contributed in a wild animals only. Okay, so people encouraged animals that were relatively gentle, or the animals those comes near the camp in the sense wherever this group of people living, where they lived. These animals such as sheep, goat, cattle, and also the pig lived in herds, and most of them ate grass. And people started protecting these animals from the attacks of other wild animals. Nowadays also we always heard the news channels that any tiger attacked at the village people, at the domesticated animals are attacked at the cattle, right? No, so like that, so we need to protect them. Now we'll think about the domestication. This is because the people now became more choosy, you can say, that they have selected the plants, which plants are edible, that may be helpful for us, right? Now like that also they started thinking about the animals also. Okay, so these animals, those are relatively gentle, are selected for breeding. Think about it, huh? These animals, they are relatively gentle. Those are selected for breeding. And domesticated animals and plants became different from wild animals. Animals are the same, but the domesticated and wild, then how they could be different from the same breed? For example, the teeth and the horns of wild animals are usually much larger than those of domesticated animals. Okay, understood the difference wild and the domesticated. The gradual process that they took in different parts of the world, very slow process, slowly they have started, but that was also 12,000 years ago they have started. Virtually all the plant and animal produce that we use as food today is a result of domestication. See here, first animal to be tamed was the wild ancestor of the dog. Animals like sheep, goat, cattle, and pig lived in herds, right? So, just we have seen this information, and this is how they became herders. In this animals, just I told you the information related these animals. Those are relatively gentle, are selected for breeding, and the result gradually they can see it domesticated animals and plants became different from wild animals and plants. An example I told you, teeth and horns of these animals are larger than those of domesticated animals. Okay, now what kind of new life they have started? If you plant a seed, then you need to protect it from the birds or the animals, right? No, and every plant, or you can see the different grain has its own time to grow, whether it will take a 2 month, 4 month, 6 month, or more than that. So every kind of crop is having their own different time to grow, to reap. Understood? All plants are not having the same ripen time. Every plant has its own different time. Okay, so when people began growing plants, it means that they had to stay in the same place for a long time, right? No, who will look after these plants? You need to look after these plants. No, if you have planted, if you want to cultivate it, right? Then what you need to do for that? You need to plant it very neatly, carefully. Then you need to water it, weeding, driving away animals and birds to protect it, right? So till the grain ripened, you need to protect it. You need to care it. Now, after ripening these crops or the grain, you need to store these grains, right? No? Then, have you prepared for the next development of this agriculture? Now, I just cultivated the crops. Okay, now I am going to brought it to me. Then what I need to do? I need to store it, right? Now, where I need to store it? Again, for storing also, I need to protect it from the insects. I need to protect it from the water. I need to preserve it for a long time. Right now, these things are very important. It means storing is also the kind of development if they had in their mind. Again, the fourth thing you can say, you need to keep some seeds for the next year to cultivate the same crops, right? So these are the another steps that they have decided. So this is a new way of life. Understood? So for that reason, what solution they had? They made a clay pots. See here, clay pots they made. Second, they have woven the basket, and this is another the duck pits in the ground. Okay, that is a storage of grain. Understood? Now you will get the idea how they are going to store it. Now think about again the animals. Animals multiply naturally in their breeding only. If they are looked after carefully, if you are taking care of all these animals very neatly, then you will get the milk. That is a source of food, right? No? And the meat, meat. Whenever required, you will get this kind of food. So these animals are also a kind of a source of food. So not only storage of grains, but you can say the word for these animals also, store of food. These animals are also the store, store, store of food. Okay. Now we'll think about the tools that they made it by the stones. Initially, they used stones only. Everyone knows it. And among that, mortar and pestle were there. Now, what is that mortar and pestle? In our kitchen also there is a mortar and the pestle. Remember? Yes. These are the two tools used with each other to mill or the grind and mix substances. The mortar is a bowl shaped and used to hold the substance to be ground. And mortars have smooth, rounded bottoms and wide mouths. And the pestle is a stick used for pounding and grinding. Okay, like this. In the mortar, you can put the grains or the thing that you need to crush it in a simple way. And the pestle used it to crush it on that. Understood? So, each marks. Now think about the sites where all these things we got, from where archaeologists have found. We also would like to think about, to know about where they got this one, how they got this one. Let me know where is that actual place, right? No, so these are found all over the subcontinent. Some of the most important ones are in the northwest side. Northwest, do you remember the directions? North side to the west. It means your left side, northwest. Okay. Some of the most important ones are in the northwest, that is in present Kashmir, and in east side and South India also. And these sites at that time were the settlements of farmers and herders. And these scientists studied all this evidence that they got about the plants and the animals' bones. And the exciting thing that they found, that was the burnt grain. Now you will get the idea. How could the grain remain as it is? Because just we had seen, because of the climatic conditions, that the grain never get as it is, because definitely the plants grow. Then how could they get the grains? But they used here the word burnt, B-U-R-N-T, burnt grain. It means there is a scientific reason. If the grain burns, it never ripens. Understood? That's why in the excavation, after many years also, these burnt grains, archaeologists or the scientists got. Okay. We know that a number of crops were grown in different parts of the subcontinent. They can use identify the bones of different animals also. If you do have your own textbook, you can see the chart that they have given here, grains and bones, and the sites, name of the sites, and at that particular respective site what we got, which remains we got. That list they have given in the textbook. These kinds of clay pots they used to make it in this Neolithic period. Neolithic in the sense that was the end of Mesolithic and started just a new period, that is a Neolithic. Okay. That time also they made it very attractive. If you have seen this pit houses, and just before I shown you, this is a pit house, a quite closer look it is at the Burzoham, and that Burzoham you can find it in present day Kashmir. Why they are using this kind of pit houses? What do you think? That is also under the ground. Even archaeologists found traces of huts and houses at some sites, and among that site, this Burzaham in Kashmir, we have. It works for the making food also, and it works to provide shelter in the cold weather as well. For cooking hearths, Hearths means the floor of a fireplace. Okay, so cooking hearths both inside and outside the huts, which suggests that depending on the weather, people cook food either indoor also and the outdoor also. Okay, if you can see or think about the stone tools that we have seen, mortars and pestle was the important one that they used it to grind the grain, and that the same material we use it in our kitchen also nowadays. We require it. We feel that whatever we are making the crushing things, it tastes very nice. Okay, so several thousand years later also we continued the thing. Tools of this Paleolithic types continued to be made and used. And remember, some tools that to be used are made up by bone also. And these earthen pots that I have shown you just now, they also been found. These were sometimes decorated also. You have seen this picture and their decoration also, right? Were used for storing things. And these people began using these pots for cooking also, storing grains, rice, wheat, lentil, that now became a important part of the diet. They started weaving cloth also. That is a next development, right? No. So for that we need a cotton. So we could now be grown this cotton. In many areas, men and women still continue to hunt, gather food. Elsewhere, people adopted farming and herding slowly, slowly they have started adopting it. So people tried to combine these activities by doing the different things during their different seasons. These are the customs and practices that on the screen also you can see. Right now, archaeology does not tell us that scholars have studied that lives of present days farmer and how they have practiced their simple agriculture. They also studied the lives of herders. So in groups, we called those who are living together, whether their occupations are the different, but they lived together. So these groups are called the tribes. So what is it? Tribes. Hmm? These farmers and herders live in groups called tribes. Tribes have rich and unique cultural conditions, including their own language, music, stories, paintings. They have their own gods and goddesses. Tribes different from many other societies. Land, forests, grasslands, and water are regarded as the wealth of the entire tribe. So, everything that they have included, and all these things contribute as a customs and practices. Here we have seen some sites in this lesson. Here is that one site, that is Mehrgarh, Mehrgarh. And here is a map also I have shown you to read these name of sites. Burzahom, see on top of this map of India. Pit house we got in that, right? And Mehergarh, that is to the blue color line. Indus River is there, and above that Mehergarh site is there. Why this site is famous? This site is located at the fertile plain, and that fertile plain area is of Indus River. Okay, and near the Bolan Pass, it is most important routes into Iran. So this Mehergarh is probably one of the place where women and men learned to grow barley and wheat and reared sheep, goats for the first time in this area. In previous lesson also we have seen the first crops grown, wheat and barley. Kirthar and Suleiman Hills, those were also to the Indus River side. Right? So Mehergarh also refers the same site nearby that place only. So archaeologists excavated the site, found evidence of many kinds of animal bones also. Earliest level included bones of these animals such as the deer, pig. They found more bones of the sheep, goat. Okay, so cattle bones were also commonly they found here, and they are suggesting that this was the animal that was generally kept by the people, right? And this Mehergarh include remains of square or the rectangular houses, and each house had four or more compartments, some of which may have been used for storage. And when people dies or their relatives, friends, they keep respect for them. People look after them. They have a belief there is some form of life after death. At this Mehergarh, uh, formerly, these people do have this kind of belief that after the death of life, they do have another life. Suppose the dead person was buried with goats, which were probably meant to serve as food in the next world. That's why they used to put a goat also with that dead person. That after the death, the person get the another life, and in that another life he need a food. That's why they put it this kinds of animal with them. If you can see the structure of houses and the pictures also in the textbook they have given here, a burial from Mehergarh. You can see the skeleton of person also and the skeleton of these other animals as well. One more site they have shown here in this lesson, that is about the Daujali Hadding. This is a kind of stone that I have shown it on the screen. Daujali Hadding. This is a site name, and that you can see it to the east side of India, and that is near the Brahmaputra Valley. That is also the close route leading to China and Myanmar. And the stones that you are getting, including mortars and pestles, also been found in the excavation. And all these indicated that people were probably growing grains, preparing food from it. And one more important they found, that is a kind of stone, jadeite. It's a kind of gem also, gemstone bolte na, like that. A stone that may have been brought from China. Also common are finds of tools made of fossil wood. Fossil wood in the sense ancient wood that has hardened into stone. This is a fossil wood. Okay, that was not purified. And the different kinds of pottery. Now we'll think about our own activity, what we are going to do. In this lesson, we have learned, suppose we are thinking about any particular region, it contributes their farming, herding, or domesticating, every kind of occupation it contributes. And in a group, what they are going to follow for their customs and practices. In picture, I have shown you here the festivals they are celebrating, the skills they know, their dances or the music. Okay, so it contributes not only the information that we have seen, but also it is also contributed in this information. Okay, so one more activity I'm going to tell you, that you are going to make a clay pots with different shape and the sizes. I hope in previous grade also you may have done these things, but you will make it by your own hands, and you will put a picture that you made it, and each pot that you made, for what purpose will you use it, you will mention beside to that pot. Okay, so you will use your own creativity, but the pot should be made up by you and made up by clay. Okay, next, you can say the use of mortars and pestles, that you can find it in your kitchen, as I mentioned it just before again. For what reasons you are using that pestle, for what reason you are using that mortar. Okay, you will tell me those uses, or you can put the pictures or draw it step by step that you are using for this. Okay, so everything you will put it in that. One more thing, that there is a Odisha state in our India. Okay, so what kind of customs and practices you can put by learning? Suppose you can start learning the different words, like the way in English we are saying good morning, yes, no, or namaste. So these are very common words. Then how they are saying it in their own language, what they are saying, that any five words you will try to learn. Or if possible, there is a famous temple, Konark temple. The temple's significance you can write on the paper. Will you write it as an essay? Will you make a poem? Or you want to put it in a short, but only the important point? What is important, what is the significance in a point wise, how you are presenting, it depends. Okay, one more activity you can say, try to compare farming in Maharashtra we are doing and the farming in Odisha. Okay, so among these activities, what is suitable, what is very easiest, and what is very differently presentable, that you will do this one related to this lesson. Okay, thank you.